And now, this is WTAE 4 News.
Western Pennsylvania buried by the blizzard of '94. And now a huge task ahead, digging out from underneath it.
Big task, Scott. Good evening, everybody. We have live team coverage now of the blizzard of '94. This is the scene all over Western Pennsylvania and much of the East Coast. If you could get out and we're trying to get somewhere, there's a good chance you got stuck more than once on your way there. Driving, almost impossible.
And the big activity of the day that just about everybody had to be contend with, shoveling out from under. If you haven't done it already, a word of caution, be careful out there. Shoveling snow is an extremely strenuous activity, and boy, is this one a whopper.
And so we have the blizzard of '94. Is the worst over? Well, how much snow did we get, and is there more snow on the way? These are questions we put to Joe DiNardo now. He joins us from the Weather Center with the answers. This was a big one, Joe.
It certainly was, Sally. First of all, on your question, is the worst over? Yes, it is. The reason for it, we do have this low pressure center. Now it's entering southeastern New York State. It's moving up. We just have light snow here in Allegheny County. In our area overnight, we'll have less than a ½ inch. Over in Westmoreland County up till midnight, could pick up an additional 1 to 2 inches as it continues to move on to the northeast. How much did we get officially? International Airport has 15 inches on the ground. Probably picked up around 18 out there. The snow is heavy and wet, and it is compressing, but they're reporting 15 on the ground. Surely they had more than that. Is there more in the way? The answer to that, yes. Low pressure tomorrow night over Kansas City will start to bring some light snow back into the area Thursday morning, but I promise you not another blizzard of '94B. We'll have complete details later on. Now back to Scott.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. We do want to mention we just got a fax just a minute or so ago from the Allegheny County Board of Commissioners officially declaring a disaster emergency situation for Allegheny County effective right now. That fax just coming in. We'll be looking at it and seeing what the implications are. Now, it doesn't matter who you are or where you had to go. Getting there was nearly impossible all day long. Angie Moreski is outside checking out the road conditions at this hour. Angie, things still pretty treacherous, I imagine.
They are, Scott. Really, the only improvement that I can see is that the snow is starting to taper off a bit right now, and that is very good news to those road crews who have been out there all day long fighting the unwinnable battle of trying to get these roads cleared. And as you can see behind me, a lot of folks aren't even venturing out. This is the Parkway headed west in the Wilkinsburg area. It's still snow covered, and it is virtually deserted. Make no mistake, the roads still are extremely treacherous out here. And there are some major arteries closed throughout Western Pennsylvania. Let me give you the latest status report on those right now. The Turnpike eastbound lane closed to all cars from Monroeville to Irwin. The Turnpike also closed to all trucks in both directions from the Ohio border to the Carlisle exit. Now, I-70 through Westmoreland County is not officially closed, but police are asking all motorists to stay off it if they can. And I-79 is closed from the Allegheny County line south through West Virginia. That is the latest report on roads that are open and closed. Now, let's take a look at the roads throughout the day, how they were going, or maybe it's better to say how they didn't go all day long. For those brave souls who ventured out early this morning, it didn't take long to find out. Bad idea. Folks crawled along at 20 miles an hour on the Parkway, but it didn't matter. The punch from the storm sent motorists sliding out of control. Crews worked round the clock, but with snow falling at a rate of 3 to 5 inches an hour in some parts this morning, there was no way to keep up. PennDOT says it looked a whole lot like the blizzard of the century that hammered Pittsburgh last year.
Very hard right now because of the rate of the snowfall. All we're doing right now is being able to keep lanes open by plowing them.
It just got worse as the day continued. In Wilkinsburg, we found nearly a dozen cars stuck in the snow along a 1-mile stretch of Ardmore Boulevard. By lunchtime, I-79 closed from the Allegheny County line south through West Virginia. Folks could go north, but some couldn't even manage to get on the highway to do that. The Turnpike also closed around lunchtime from Monroeville to all points east. All in all, it amounted to a day of traffic headaches.
It was fine on the Turnpike until I got here and they wouldn't let me go any farther.
Bad going everywhere. That is absolutely true. And we have one important point that we want to pass along to you. Police barracks in the area have asked us to tell you to please not call them for road conditions. As you can imagine, they are extremely busy, and that is really holding them back. They don't have time to take the calls, but I think you can just pretty much imagine that it is bad everywhere. That is good advice to stay off the roads tonight if you can. Hopefully tomorrow it will be better. Reporting live along the Parkway, I'm Angie Moreski. Back to you.
All right, Angie, thank you. And again, the late word that was just in from the Allegheny County Emergency Management Agency is that Superintendent Bob Kroner has asked that all police, fire, ambulance, and emergency management officers go on 24-hour standby at their stations until further notice. 3 four-wheel drive vehicles are headed to the hospital in the North Hills to help move workers in and out during shift changes. And the county now has 103 snow-removing vehicles on the road to clear streets and bridges. Sally?
Just one day into his new administration, and already Pittsburgh Mayor Tom Murphy is faced with a citywide emergency. How is he handling it all? Well, the new mayor joins us now live from outside of his home on the north side. Mayor, you kind of got your feet wet right off the bat, so to speak.
Pretty humbling experience, really.
Mayor,
if you're a 3-year-old, you love it.
I bet. Can you tell us what are the status of the roads in the city, and where are the real tough spots for the city crews right now?
Well, I'm told by Ralph Kashevsky, Director of Public Works, that most of the primary routes in the city will be pretty well cleared by 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. They're the primary, about 350 miles of streets. The secondary roads, they're going to be working all night on those, and they're hopeful that by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, about 90% of the secondary roads will be cleared. So by going to work tomorrow, if people take it a little easy, I think they'll be able to get there in a pretty good shape.
Mayor, if you had to give a grade, I know you have a plan, you want to see the plan implemented. How well have city crews done? What things could be improved?
I was really impressed. I was out there at 2 o'clock in the morning last night with the city crews. They're a motivated group of people. It really was very impressive. As well as all night long at 6 o'clock in the morning, we were out there again with them. And I've not seen much that can be improved. I mean, there's not much you can do when you get 20 inches of snow. I think you try to keep most of the main roads open, and once the snow stops, you get back to the secondary roads. I think that's what they're doing, and I'm pleased with the results so far.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Mayor. Welcome to office and the responsibilities thereof. By the way, I looked at that declaration of disaster, and what that means is that it allows Allegheny County to officially provide service to the municipalities and local communities that need it. And so it was important for them to get that declaration in.
And a lot of them don't have the crews to handle this.
That's right. It's in effect right now. Now, there is other news developing tonight we want to mention. Bellsilver police are on the scene of a double homicide. At this hour, all we know is that it happened on Sumner Street. We have a news crew on the scene, and as
until tomorrow morning, Alan Jennings spent the day there and finding dozens of stranded air travelers. Alan joins us live from the newsroom. Was it bad out there, Alan?
Well, Sally, plain and simple, the airport got hammered just like the rest of the area. The snow and ice crippled air travel coming in and going out. This earth mover is plowing snow off the tarmac. Almost 2 feet of snow. Most of it fell, the rest blown in by the wind. Crews worked all day, but aren't even close to clearing miles of concrete runway. The snow shut down all outgoing and incoming flights. Dozens of travelers wound up stranded at the airport, including one family trying to leave town to get in some skiing. Where are you headed?
We're just the chauffeurs.
Gunnison, Colorado.
You're going to go skiing?
Yes.
You can do it right here.
I know. We didn't know that before.
The Shrivers were scheduled to take off at 2 this afternoon, but we're told it won't be until tomorrow sometime. Herb Higginbotham, the airport's director, said it's going to be a long night for a lot of travelers.
U.S. Air has told us that they will not resume operations till tomorrow morning. TWA has a potential arrival coming in at 7:30 tonight.
This is the tarmac here at Greater Pitt. Lots of snow, as you can see. Operations crews tell me that last year's storm packed a bigger wallet, but it's plain to see Old Man Winter sure got his licks in this time, too. Among the dozens of other travelers caught in the storm was passenger Bobby Morford. She and her family were to leave this morning for, of all places, Hawaii. Even racing to the airport didn't help.
So we ran downstairs like crazy people, got on the plane, they closed the doors, backed us out, started to de-ice us, and we're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the pilot comes on and said, "This has been canceled, they're closing, no flights are going out now."
Imagine that, getting stranded on your way to Hawaii. The airport again is officially closed until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's the time that airport operations tells us that they're shooting for, 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, but closed until then. They suggest that you check with your airline. In the newsroom, Alan Jennings. Sally and Scott.
All right, thank you, Alan. I imagine the trip to Hawaii will be all the more sweet after the ordeal.
Absolutely, after this, definitely.
Well, still much more to come on the blizzard of 94. Our team coverage will continue throughout the evening.
At 5:30, Jack Martin will show you a community that is not only battling the blizzard of 94, but their road workers went on strike this morning as well. Also at 5:30, we have a number of closings to bring you tonight, as well as school closings for tomorrow. And then at 6, we'll go to the Allegheny County Command Center live, where Ken Rice will bring us up to date on what's happening over there. So we've got everything. Our storm coverage continues.
Continues now. We're going to check out the snow situation across the region. This winter wallop is hitting hard for hundreds of miles around.
Joe will return with a more detailed look at our weather picture and how we'll fare tonight and tomorrow, so stay with us.
I'm Yvonne Zanos. Thanks to the storm, it sure wasn't business as usual today. That story coming up.
Counting cities across the East Coast.
Oh, is that a familiar sound? Folks in Massachusetts woke up to the same mess we did. By daybreak, 5 inches of snow had fallen in Boston, and the suburbs got up to 8 inches. 2 feet expected by the end of the day. And this is what the biggest storm so far this season looks like in Greenwich, Connecticut. As much as a foot of snow was expected inland. The shoreline got hit by 6 inches. The snow changed in most of this by midday.
And of course, you know, the comparison can't be helped. We've all thought about it. All this snow, it brings back the memories of the blizzard of 93. Well, you remember how it was. 24 inches of snow in a 24-hour period. Pittsburgh literally snowed in. Major highways shut down. Just about everything else, too. Sound familiar? One major difference from this storm, last year's storm landed on a weekend. So we didn't get maybe quite as much snow. It wasn't quite as cold. In some ways, it may have been a little bit worse in that because we're on a weekday here now. A lot of people were trying to get to work.
But the positive note was it wasn't as cold. It was really cold back
right.
in March, wasn't it?
Yeah, Joe's here now. And how do you feel about it? I mean, you saw that storm. You've lived through this one.
Well, I think the difference, number one, it was on a weekend. Number two, if you don't recall, we had temperatures of 16 degrees when we were getting that heavy snow, 3 inches an hour. Although there were some areas today that were picking up as much. Elkins, West Virginia, in 1 hour picked up 5 inches of snow this morning. And in Washington County, Greene County, some areas down there, 3 to 4 inches in an hour. That's a lot of snow. But it's all past now, and it's moving east of us. Let's take a look at our conditions at International Airport right now. It's cloudy, but the improving ceilings and visibilities. Ceilings based at 1,400 feet broken, overcast at 3,200 feet. The visibility all the way up now to 6 miles, light snow, and current temperature, well, that's running 24 degrees. That's 1 degree above our min. The relative humidity, 86%. Surface wind northwest. That's at 16 miles per hour. Barometer, 29.67 of an inch of mercury. That's rising rapidly. On a satellite photograph, here's a storm. The center of it's located in southeastern New York State. All the radar is primarily east of us and up through New England now, where the heavy snow is. Out west, another storm center beginning to develop, which we'll talk about in a moment. Here's the latest surface map. Low pressure continues to move northeastward, and as it moves on to the northeast, a heavy snow is in extreme northeastern Pennsylvania, central New York State, upper sections of Vermont, New Hampshire, on up into Maine, and this band through here will get anywhere from a foot to a foot and a half as the low continues northward. New York City, nothing at all. Same at Philadelphia and south and east. They had a little bit of snow, then changed to rain. Same up in the Boston area. But by tomorrow night, this low moves northeastward, and the next low, the storm center now located up through northwestern sections of Montana, will be moving southeastward very rapidly, and as it moves southeastward, light snow will be spreading eastward. We could have some light snow back in here by Thursday morning. Nothing like this storm that moved through, but nevertheless get a little accumulation from this and as it moves through. But what's a couple of inches after we've just experienced anywhere from 16 to 25? Here's the bullseye was over southeastern Butler County, eastern Allegheny, eastern sections of Washington County, Greene County, Fayette County, western Somerset, Westmoreland County, southwest Indiana County. And it reports anywhere from 20 to 26 inches of snow. Some areas down around Waynesburg is reporting as much, in Mariana, as much as 32 inches of snowfall. From the Skywarn observers who measure the snow, generally we've had anywhere from 12 up to as high as 20 to 22 inches of snowfall. Officially, 14.5, 15 inches International Airport. As you get into Ohio, 6 inches around the Cleveland area, and as you move south, up to 10 inches by the time you get to the Pennsylvania border. This is the, as far as additional snowfall is concerned, Allegheny County be less than a half inch the rest of the night. Winds will be gusting 15 miles per hour, a little bit of drifting. Westmoreland County, Armstrong, Indiana, Fayette could still pick up another 1 to 2 inches before it ends, and it ends from west to east. Forecast for tonight: mostly cloudy and cold. The snow ending, as I mentioned, accumulation less than a half inch for Allegheny County the rest of the night. A little higher amounts till about 10 tonight in Westmoreland, Fayette counties, Armstrong, Indiana. Low 17 degrees. Wednesday, mostly cloudy, cold. Snow flurries. The high tomorrow, 26 degrees. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, cold. Snow by daybreak Thursday morning. A low of 18 degrees Thursday. Snow becoming mixed with sleet and freezing rain. Then back to snow. The high Thursday, only up to the freezing mark, 32 degrees. And if you want to travel tomorrow, I'd suggest not, but if you're traveling, you want to go up to Cleveland, well, they'll be cloudy, kind of chilly, 23 degrees. Dayton, Ohio, partly cloudy, 24 degrees. Boston, windy up there, 28 degrees. Washington, D.C., cloudy, 32. Nashville, cloudy, 42 degrees. So nothing happening tomorrow. We're just getting ready for the light snow coming in on Thursday morning.
You still think it'll be tough getting around tomorrow, though? No
question about it. And overnight. Okay. It's going to take them 24 hours to get back, you know, the main roads and the secondary roads.
Yeah, that's right.
Seeing some of those cars on the secondary roads. It's going to.
Watching from the window at the station.
Up next, the snowstorm blasts local businesses. Yvonne looks at that.
And in Dateline, the children lost their parents and had to beg for burial money.
Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra musician.
Store missed work. Well, consumer editor Yvonne Zanos reports you weren't alone. They weren't, Yvonne.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. It was a bad business day all around. The snowstorm may not have been bad enough to completely shut the city down, but it did keep a lot of businesses from opening up. It certainly wasn't business as usual today. Shopping malls all over the area buckled under the snow. Many businesses never opened their doors, and many of those who did spent most of the day wondering why they had.
It was ridiculous. No one was here.
Not one perm or trim at the hair salon. Not one customer here at Arthur's Men's Store in Braddock Hills.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Is this kind of a lonely day to be open here?
Well, I haven't had any customers to talk to.
Here at Builder Square by early afternoon, instead of the usual several hundred customers, they had had several customers.
It's been a slow day, very slow.
Although there had been a lot of interest in the one snowblower left in the store.
It'd probably be sold. People wanted to buy it over the telephone, and we're trying to come down here, but I don't think they made it in.
What would get people out on roads like these? Grocery store employees will tell you.
Cigarettes and milk.
Is that what you sold today?
Cigarettes and milk and diapers.
Some things to keep me busy since I'll be stuck in the house the rest of the night. Suspended ceiling parts. I'm putting up a ceiling in my bedroom.
What did you need so badly that you would go out on a day like today?
Probably more some brains, maybe.
Jim Schaefer drove halfway and walked halfway only to get to the grocery store minutes after it closed. Why?
Well, it wasn't to buy food. It was to get my pictures from my Caribbean vacation. And I thought this would be a good day to look at them.
Yeah, that would have been nice. You know, we did talk to a surprising number of people who say they did make it to work today, but admit it wasn't a very productive day. They say they spent most of their day worrying about how they were going to get home again. One thing's for sure, everybody's hoping that tomorrow will be a more productive and a much easier day. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Yvonne Zanos.
Thanks, Yvonne. Time now to check in with Don Cannon in Studio C for a look ahead at what's coming up at 5:30. Don?
Yeah, thanks very much, Sally. The storm coverage, of course, continues at 5:30 today with a story of terrible timing. In Union Township, Fayette County, the snowplow crews went on strike at midnight last night. We'll see how the folks there are coping. Plus, to remind you how things can be, weather problems. Weather problems, you say? Well, it's too hot in California. And at 5:30, our broadcast will also focus on the cancellations. Extensive coverage of that and much more coming up today at 5:30. Sally and Scott.
Okay, thanks very much, Don. And we'll have the storm status in Ohio and West Virginia after this break.
And the story of a bad
snow, but the snow downed trees and power lines as well. Governor Gaston Caperton has declared a statewide state of emergency. At least 150,000 people are without power tonight. Emergency shelters have been opened for people in Boone and Kanawha counties. And it's no different in Ohio. The governor there has declared a state of emergency in 4 counties hit by up to 18 inches of snow. The National Guard has been deployed to offer medical assistance.
All right, beyond the blizzard, the children beg for money to bury their parents.
A snow emergency. That means all vehicles must be off the roads in that municipality. The same is true in Jefferson Borough. Not only does that mean roads are closed, it means parked cars must be removed. And folks in Whitaker Borough are in the same shape. Also, police, PennDOT, and Turnpike phone operators say they are being overwhelmed by the volume of phone calls, so please only call with emergencies.
Well, some folks are making the best of all of this snow. We caught up with these folks outside of Findlay Township. They were taking advantage of the day. Hey, if you can't get your car dug out, why not try another mode of transportation? Snowmobiling may be the only way to go in a storm like this.
Four-wheel drive does help.
Boy, if I only knew somebody with a four-wheel drive to help me get home.
I was a taxi today.
I bet you were.
That's our 5 o'clock report. As always, thanks for joining us.
Well, Don Cannon is in the newsroom now with our 5:30 report. Don.
Yeah, thank you, Sally and Scott. More storm coverage coming up in this half hour tonight. The most challenging job of the day is keeping the roads clear. We'll check the status of that problem. And later, the Clinton administration pushing for more condom ads on television. But up first, at 5:30 this Tuesday, we thank you very much for being with us and hope that you and yours are safe and warm this storm day. It's the same story all over western Pennsylvania tonight. The blizzard of 94 and how to dig out from under it. If you weren't outside today, there's a glimpse here of what people had to deal with. This videotape was taken in our parking lot here at Channel 4 just a while ago. People's cars buried in snow, plus an all-out effort to make them mobile once again. But if you lived in a town today where nobody showed up to plow the streets, call it a stroke of bad timing, if you will, or bad luck. Either way, it spells inconvenience for Union Township. The road crews there went on strike at midnight last night as the area was just beginning to be pelted by the storm. But the town is coping somehow, and Jack Martin reports.
This blizzard could not have come at a worse time for Union Township. Most of the road crew was manning a picket line today instead of their plows.
We have been negotiating 4 times.
They decided to strike last night when negotiations fell through, leaving the township in a lurch.
It's crippled us a little bit.
And forced township supervisors like Don Owens in the driver's seat to hold Mother Nature at bay enough to make the roads passable for emergencies. But these policemen wonder if it's a battle they can win.
It's hard to keep up with this. This is coming too fast.
The strikers, meantime, say they'll renegotiate right now for better benefits and wages.
We're not overly paid.
$12.46 an hour.
$12.46 an hour, and you would have been...
I've been here 24 years.
So with this kind of weather, it's good timing for them. Is it going to impact your negotiations with them?
You know, without putting a fiscal strain on our budget here, so I'd have to say that, you know, we're still dealing with them in good faith, but, you know, we have our limitations as a township.
It's up to them now.
With no new negotiations scheduled, there appears to be no end in sight for the strike, although township officials are hoping to see the end of the snow fairly soon. If not, this could wind up being the best way to get around this town. But big-time relief is on the way. Officials there appealed to Congressman Austin Murphy to get the township declared a disaster area. At last word, PennDOT was moving in to help clear the roads and streets there. In the meantime, the strike continues. Live in the newsroom, I'm Jack Martin. Don, back to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Jack. And of course, PennDOT is pulling out all of the stops to try to keep our state roads plowed today. Some 2,000 state-owned plows and blowers are attacking the interstates and the most heavily traveled highways first. PennDOT also has contracts with hundreds of private companies to work on those secondary and rural roads. Amtrak is having problems as well in the Northeast today. Ice tore down power lines between New York and Newark, New Jersey this morning, stranding some 15,000 passengers in the Washington to Boston corridor, as well as the New Jersey transit lines, the commuter lines. A drawbridge froze between Manhattan and the Bronx, causing 2-hour delays there on trips from New York to Albany. And in Philadelphia today, a SEPTA trolley jumped the rails this morning as it rounded a curb, injuring 9 people, none seriously, luckily. SEPTA officials aren't sure yet if weather weather was the cause of that accident. Pat buses got out of the lots today, but after that it was pretty tough going, as you can see here. These buses, 2 in a row, got stuck on a hill in Wilkinsburg, causing a huge traffic backup for a good part of the afternoon. Pretty much the same all over town. There were delays for those who had the courage to venture out and even ride the buses today. One more note we should mention. In townships Moon, Moneston, Monroeville, Castle Shannon, Murraysville, they've all declared a snow emergency. This means that all vehicles should be off the roads in those municipalities that include parked cars, and police and PennDOT and Turnpike phone operators say they're being overwhelmed by the volume of telephone calls. So please, if you live in those boroughs or townships, it can be a penalty of up to $65 if your car is left on the road in violation of those ordinances. Well, obviously, a lot of closings tonight, as we expect. Many schools and businesses simply shut down tomorrow as well. Let's check in with Scott Baker in the newsroom, monitoring who's open and who's not. I guess the Knots win it today, Scott.
I guess they do. In fact, Don, it might be easier just to say who's, who is open. It'd probably be a list of about 2 sentences. But we're going to do this in 3 sections. We'll do 1 section now, and about 10 minutes later, we'll give you some more. And then toward the end of this half hour, we'll have a 3rd segment. Let's start this list with some of the important closings that we do know about. All of the senior centers in the city of Pittsburgh and all city parks and recreation centers are closed. Many libraries are closed, including the main Carnegie Library and all branches of the Northland Public Libraries. The following technical schools and universities are closed: Carnegie Mellon, California University, Carlow College, CCAC, the Community College of Beaver County, Computer Tech, the Institute of Culinary Arts, the Dean Institute of Technology, DePaul Institute, Duquesne Electronic Institute, La Roche College, the University of Pittsburgh Graduate School of Business, Penn State McKeesport, Penn State New Kensington, Point Park College, Washington Institute of Technology, Waynesburg College, West Virginia University. Okay, let's move on from the schools to the malls. The following malls are shut down, no shopping going on: South Hills Village, Ross Park, Century 3, the Galleria, Monroeville, you saw that in Yvonne's piece earlier, Greengate, Westmoreland, and Village Square. All of the Horn stores and PNC banks, no matter where they are closed. Also closed today, the Aviary, the Pittsburgh Zoo. The animals are probably enjoying the snow, and the Phipps Conservatory closed. The Carnegie Museum and the Science Center, and the Shenley Park skating rink is closed. Can't skate very well on top of the snow. So that's our first segment of closings done. We'll be back a little bit later on with some more. We'll go back to you now for the latest on the storm.
Okay, thanks very much, Scott. Now, a warning tonight for mobile homeowners from the Butler County Emergency Management Agency. It deals with folks who may have furnace problems or may expect them over the next day or so. Servicemen are being overwhelmed, as you might expect, with calls tonight. Most of the problems are resulting from a snow buildup on the furnace fresh air intake. Now, most of those are normally located on the mobile home roof, so residents are asked to make sure those intakes are clear of snow. If not, your furnace simply will not work. We've taken a number of calls from local fire chiefs throughout the day here at WTAE-TV. They want you to take a couple of minutes, if you will, and clear the snow away from hydrants that may be close to your home. It'll only take a couple of minutes to do this, and it could be a big difference if a fire should break out in the next day or so. The snow, of course, is pelting much of the East Coast tonight. Near Scranton, it's not creating as much trouble as it is here. In fact, the folks there say they're pretty much accustomed to conditions like these. While travel was difficult on the main arteries, stores and businesses in Scranton remained open. In New Jersey, they're getting it all. First of all, snow, then it turned to sleet, then back to snow, making driving in the Garden State very treacherous from top to bottom. In Westchester, New York, the storm hit, making the roads hazardous but passable. Folks there were prepared for more snow than they actually got, and apparently having some fun in Westchester County as well. A windy winter blast hits Colorado. This is a different storm, though, by the way. 8 to 10 inches of new snow out there from a different weather system. Wind, lots of it. In fact, they're so strong, the winds, that most of the snow is being whipped up before it actually hits the ground, making for serious blizzard conditions throughout the state of Colorado. Now, the question is that coming our way? And here with the answer, and a lot more things, is Joe in the Weather Center. Joe.
Well, Donald, we won't have to worry about that for at least the next 36-hour period. Let's get rid of this first snowstorm. High today was 29 degrees, and right now at International Airport, we're 24. Our low thus far has been 23. As you go southeast, Uniontown, Ligonier, 25. Garrett County, Maryland, picked up 20 inches of snow. They're 21 degrees, 27 at Clarksburg, 25 at Wheeling-Weirton. As you go north, they're colder. St. Mary's, 20. Warren, 18 degrees. Canton, 24. Here's the latest satellite picture right now. You can see this band of cloud cover through our area, but as you go up north, it starts to get a little more intense with some moisture. Low pressure center is southeastern New York State, very windy along the coastline and inland around this low. Right along the coastline, it's rain. Inland, it goes to snow, and then in the higher elevations, moderate to heavy snow, and that'll be the case overnight, where they're looking for anywhere from 1 foot to 1.5 feet as this storm continues to move northeastward. Meanwhile, here in our area, it's back to a light snow condition, at least in Allegheny County. Still some moderate snows occurring in eastern Fayette County, central Westmoreland County, and Indiana County, and southeastern Armstrong. That'll continue to move off to the east, ending from the west. And in terms of how much snow we actually received, Bridgeville had 22.3 inches of snow. Generally down in southeast, central, and Washington County, central eastern Greene County, Waynesburg, they called for 32 inches of snow, and a heavy bullseye is just in eastern Allegheny County, Washington, down through Fayette and on up in through Westmoreland County and southwestern sections of Armstrong. This is a total for the storm, and as you go west, you can see it drops off rapidly. Forecast for tonight: mostly cloudy, cold. Snow will be ending. Accumulation in Allegheny County be less than a ½ inch overnight. Breezy conditions, however, the low 17 degrees in Westmoreland. Pick up another inch to 2 inches before it ends around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Wednesday, mostly cloudy and cold with flurries. High of 26 degrees, and at 6 o'clock, the complete forecast. That's it. Here's Don.
Okay, Joe, we thank you very much. The East Coast, of course, is in the middle of one of the worst winter storms in decades, but believe it or not, it's tennis anyone in Southern California. They're experiencing what promises to be some of the winter's warmest weather. Los Angeles and surrounding areas have a heat wave. How do you like that? Thermometer hit nearly 90 degrees in parts of Los Angeles. Downtown LA coming in at 85, nearly tying a record. Of course, back here in the Pittsburgh area, the storm is causing problems. The local blood bank has problems. We'll tell you about that in HealthCast. Plus, a look at the injuries on snowy streets and sidewalks. This is no time to be careless, and we'll be right back. Happened this way, along with the city being shut down pretty much tight as a drum. Hospitals are seeing their share of snow-related injuries today. And here's our medical editor, Marilyn Brooks, and I can tell you I was teetering a couple of times getting that car out today.
I hit the snow a few licks this morning, 6 o'clock, but come a little later, I said leave it alone.
Okay.
That's what everybody should do. Frostbite, hypothermia, heart attacks, and missing fingers. We warn people about these dangers every time it snows. Maybe it's because the snow is only periodic that people seem to forget, and tragedies are repeated.
It was too much, too fast, and many who took on the challenge of moving it out of their way paid a heavy toll. 58-year-old Marlon Pence of Butler was one of them. It happened while he tried to reseat a belt on his snowblower.
And when I put it on, I didn't discharge release the blower, and of course the pipe was blocked up, and I pushed the snow down through the pipe. When I did that, I pushed my hand down into the auger.
Lose a finger?
I cut one off the end of another and broke 3 of them.
Marlon hopes doctors here can reattach his fingers. He's not the only one. Another man is already in the operating room having his right index finger reattached. Another snowblower accident.
One should never put one's hand in a snowblower. You know, as long as that thing has been used and blocked, always should use a broom handle or some other instrument, but not a hand.
Not everyone has a snowblower, but they face danger just the same. Doctors here have already seen 3 people who suffered heart attacks while shoveling snow. They say it happens a lot when unconditioned people exercise in the snow.
In cold weather, the blood vessels in the skin constrict, and because of that, the resistance to blood flow, the resistance that the heart pumps against, is increased, so the heart has to do more work for that reason.
Victims are generally men, aged 45 and older, with risk factors such as smoking, high blood pressure, or heart disease. If the morning and afternoon have been exceptionally busy at this hospital, the night is likely to see the same song sung, only on a different note. Preparations are now underway to meet that challenge with fewer people than normal.
We have a number of people from the day shift who are going to stay. We have some people who are making it in. The roads are not good, but they're getting a little better in some places. We're going to send a 4-wheel drive vehicle out for a few people.
Others will sleep here and work around the clock if necessary. It may be. Some people will venture out and the weather may get them too.
We're going to see motor vehicle accidents, sliders, and impact accidents.
They will also see children and adults with head injuries and broken necks from sled riding and ski mobiles. The best thing that anybody could do right at the point is do what?
Stay home, keep warm, and make the most of it.
We would all do very well to take that advice to heart. If the kids go out to play, make sure they're back in an hour. Higher winds and cold are a very real danger. And by the way, don't call an ambulance unless it is a true emergency. You may be taking services that are needed elsewhere. And Don, if anybody does need an ambulance, they can expect to wait maybe 20 minutes to an hour, especially in the out counties. It's very slow going.
I think the doctor's first advice was the best. Stay home.
Stay home.
Okay. Thank you, Marilyn, very much. Now, today's blizzard has forced the cancellation of nearly 600 expected blood donations. The Central Blood Bank here in town is reporting a dire situation tonight. They have less than a 2-day supply of blood platelets right now. If you have a donation appointment, call the blood bank right now to see if it's still on for tomorrow or the day after. If you don't have an appointment, you might like to make one. You've got to be 17 years or older. You must be free of the flu or any cold symptoms, and all blood types are needed right now and badly. Coming up, a long list of school closings for tomorrow already coming up. Our team coverage of the blizzard of '94 will continue next. Big day for the Dow, by the way. It jumped more than 27 points to finish the day at 37.83, and the volume was very heavy at more than 324 million shares changing hands. Now, it is time for the latest sports headlines. Here's our Tuesday Sports Reel. What's closing, Scott?
That's right, Don. On the satellite feed center right behind me is the computer where Marianne has been working since 3 this morning, tabulating all the closings. We told you some of the college closings and business closings early in the broadcast. Those are for tonight. Here are some business closings that are in effect for tomorrow. The ones that we know about: the Pittsburgh Playhouse and the Meadows Racetrack are closed tonight. The Westinghouse and Blairsville plant second and third shifts are not to report tonight. The East Liberty, Nabisco plant second and third shifts do not report tonight as we head into tomorrow. Greyhound has canceled all eastbound and westbound buses. Boyce Park is closed tonight but will reopen tomorrow. Now, among cancellations for tomorrow, the ones that we know about involving corporations Delmont and Highland Area Meals on Wheels will not make deliveries. Keep that in mind. The Laborers Union Local 1058 meeting for Wednesday night has been canceled. The Patterson auction at the Washington County Fairgrounds has been postponed until further notice. Now, the important thing is Marianne will have a complete list of all the school closings that we're going to bring you throughout the 6 o'clock broadcast. So that'll be coming up in just a few minutes. Don, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Starting tonight, you may be seeing a new government-sponsored aid.
And now, this is WTAE for News.
Spinning wheels, motorists fighting the snow, trying to get someplace, trying to go somewhere.
Snowblowers, one of the few good ways folks can cope with all this snow. Good evening, everyone. The blizzard of '94 hits western Pennsylvania and hits it hard.
Yeah, so hard, in fact, that Allegheny County has declared a snow emergency. What that means is this: the county will be able to lend assistance to all local municipalities who need some help clearing the snow over the next couple of days. Lots of local boroughs and municipalities like Jefferson Borough and Pitcairn have also declared snow emergencies. Question is, when will this all end? Let's check in with Joe in the Weather Center. Joe.
Well, Don, it's actually for Allegheny County, it's really has ended. We can take a look at the latest satellite. Gives you an idea how this system's moved. This was right after the early morning rush hour. Still had heavy activity in the tri-state area, but as you can see, with the rush hour now, the storm continues to move eastward, and it's now located in through the vicinity of southeastern New York State. And the heavy snow associated with the storm now is in north central Pennsylvania, and it goes up in through central New York State, up into the Adirondacks, and northeastward up in through Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Right along the coastline, it's rain. The snow is really tapered to a very light snow condition at Pittsburgh International Airport. The visibility is already up to 7 miles. Any accumulation in our area in Allegheny County overnight be less than a ½ inch. In the mountainous areas, still 1 inch to 2 inches till about 10 o'clock tonight. Then it's over, and I'll have more details coming up later on in the news.
Okay, thanks very much, Joe. The next question we need to answer for you: will all this mess be cleaned up in time for work tomorrow? Ken Rice joins us live from the County Emergency Command Center in the Strip District with more. Ken?
Yes, Ellie, you can think of this as blizzard control. The Emergency Operations Center for Allegheny County, they're keeping tabs of everything here. The road crews, the emergency crews, fire crews, the Red Cross is here. And they tell me that the good news is that most people, one estimate is about 80% of the people in Allegheny County stayed home today. That made for very few problems. But as you said, we want to talk about tomorrow, get an idea if people will be able to make it to work and make it to school. Let's talk to the county's Emergency Operations Coordinator, Bob Kroner. What's tomorrow morning rush hour going to look like?
Well, if the weather predictions hold up with only an inch or two more of snow and the high winds, all the main arteries should be open tomorrow. People should be able to return to work. We would advise extreme caution on secondary highways.
Now, you mentioned that this storm presented different problems from the big blizzard back in March of last year. What's so different this time around?
Well, last year the snow was wet and heavy, and when they moved the snow with the snow plows, it stayed where they pushed it. This year it's been light and fluffy, and when they push it on the side, the winds blow it back over, and it's drifting over the highway, especially in the high spots. Also last year it happened on a weekend, and this year it happened on a work day, which made a tremendous difference.
Okay, Bob Kroner, thanks very much, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Ken.
Now, let's talk about some of the current road conditions. First, we want to show you some of the videotape we took earlier on I-79 down in the Canonsburg area. This is about midday, and I'm told one of the big problem times during the day was between about 8 and 10 a.m. Crews had made pretty good progress up until then, but we got about 5 inches just in that short 2-hour span. That's when some of these major road closings started happening, and that section of the interstate was closed late this morning. Now, let's give you an idea of some of the current conditions. I-79, as we speak, remains closed from the Allegheny County line all the way down to West Virginia. No traffic allowed. On I-70, it is not officially closed, but police are asking us to ask you to stay off. They still need a break there, getting some of the sections of I-70 in Westmoreland County cleared. And on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, it is closed to all traffic from Monroeville to Irwin eastbound, and for trucks, they're not allowed on anywhere from the Ohio border to the Carlisle exit. Trucks on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Secondary roads, even at this hour, still remain the big problem. Again, most of the main roads in Allegheny County, I'm told, are clear and passable, but secondary roads, as you can see, still presenting a problem. These are some pictures from, I believe, the Forest Hills area, and it's just about vans and four-wheel drive vehicles, the only ones that seem to be making it around without too much trouble. If you got one of those old rear-wheel drive vehicles, chances are, if you were out about today, you know how difficult it was. Finally, if you need to get in touch for any reason with the Emergency Operations Center for Allegheny County, we'll pass along the phone number, 392-8550. They'll be staffing it here as long as the snow emergency continues. Reporting live from the Strip District, I'm Ken Rice. Don Sally, back to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Ken.
Now, travelers of all kinds got stranded all over the place today. Let's begin at Pittsburgh International Airport. Status closed until tomorrow morning, we are told. Between falling snow and blowing snow, 2 feet of snow is on the runways right now, or was at one time. Hundreds of people had to camp out in the airport or in area hotels tonight. I want to take you on a quick trip around the area right now.
That's right. We want to show you what's going on all around the area. Here in Allegheny County, pedestrians in Wilkinsburg had to slog through snow that was falling at one point at a rate of 3 or 4 inches an hour. An umbrella wasn't much help in keeping the snow away. In Union Township in Washington County, get this, the road cleaning workers went on strike at midnight. Now that means managers had to take the wheel of the township's snow removal equipment. And while they tried their best, they couldn't keep up, and we found lots of people stuck everywhere. In Butler County, motorists were stuck for about 2 hours trying to go eastbound on Route 422. The reason? A tractor-trailer jackknifed in the westbound lanes about 2 miles east of Butler, and no one could get through until it was cleared. We found folks a lot happier in Hopewell Township in Beaver County. These kids in Independence Square had the day off from school, so they had plenty of time to get in some great sled riding while their parents tried to shovel out. Grown-ups doing a lot of work today. If you were caught in Westmoreland County when the storm hit, there was no getting out.
That's for sure. There were troubles on the turnpike as well. In one township with another major highway declared a state of emergency. Our Susan Brozek ventured out.
I've never been north before.
Never been north before?
No, this is the first time we came.
And what a first time it was for Texas truck driver Brian Isaac. You're not not used to even driving in the snow?
I've never seen snow before.
Never seen snow.
This is the first time.
Isaac spun his wheels for hours, struggling to move an inch. While the ramp behind him backed up so far, other truck drivers jumped out of their parked rigs to take turns playing traffic cop. How many hours?
About 3 hours.
3 hours. Now you're directing traffic.
Now I'm directing them, get them out, so maybe they can get on and I can't.
Where are you from?
From Houston.
Houston.
Yeah.
Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is great.
But going east wasn't easy for anyone on the Pennsylvania Turnpike.
Oh, at Irwin and Newsstand, they've had trucks that couldn't get up ramps and block ramps.
I was fine on the turnpike until I got here and they wouldn't let me go any farther.
Those who found a way to make it east to Greensburg found 19 inches of snow downtown by 2 o'clock.
The four-wheel drive is requested.
At the 911 Emergency Operations Center, the volume of calls was actually down, in part, supervisors say, because people were listening to warnings not to head out in the snow.
We've had some people that were house-ridden because of the storm and unable to get transportation to medical facilities, but we've been able to assist them.
Only one township, North Huntington, declared a state of snow and ice emergency. That means it's against the law to park a truck or car on any highway here, or even to travel on any highway here, unless you have enough traction to make sure you don't get stuck. Most people seem to be paying attention to the warnings. Traffic on Route 30 was light as people stayed away from the snow. In Westmoreland County, Susan Brozek, WTAE-4 News.
And one more note, 911 operators say they handled mostly calls about minor accidents today, along with a minor roof collapse and a house fire. Luckily, no one was hurt.
In other news tonight, police and homicide detectives had trouble getting...
I came to the store to get some, like, food and videos, something to do, so... but it's closed.
Lots of closings you see there. And in Greene County tonight, some 2,600 folks are without power. Electricity has been out since this morning, but it is expected to be restored by midnight. Most of the people affected live near the West Virginia Panhandle. West Virginia really got hammered.
Yeah, but it's almost over, I guess.
Please.
It is.
Please.
It is.
Yeah, well, I say please, too.
Haven't we suffered enough?
We have, sir.
We have. All right. The snow in Allegheny County, at least, has ended. There'll be about an inch or two yet in eastern sections of Westmoreland County and eastern Fayette County in the mountains before it ends there at around 10, 11 o'clock tonight. Today in Pittsburgh, a almost normal day, temperature-wise, that is. Our low was 23 degrees. The afternoon high reached 29. Normal is this time of year. Lows of 20, highs of 34. That put us 1 degree below those normals. Currently at International Airport, overcast conditions. The ceiling's based at 1,200 feet. The visibility, 7 miles in light snow. Visibility really coming up now. Temperature 24 degrees, humidity 86%, west-northwest surface wind 14 miles per hour. That's a wind chill of 2 above zero, and that will be dropping through the nighttime hours. So if you're going outside, be prepared for it. You're going to shovel out the driveway or something, you're going to be in wind chills running around zero. Barometers 29.72 of an inch of mercury. That's on the rise. Satellite photograph. Here's the next storm center out west. Cloud cover there, the southwest, beautiful. California up into the 80s today. Texas warming up. Storm centers up north and the clouds down through our area. Radars all up to the northeast. More developing out in through the northern Rockies. The satellite photograph, you can see the storm center continue to move to the northeast, and you can see where our heavy snow was occurring during the rush hour and shortly thereafter, and continues to move to the northeast, while from the west, the snow ends west to east and is very light now in Allegheny County, soon to be the case east of us for the counties over east. Here's the latest surface map. Low pressure center in southeastern sections of Connecticut. Eastern New York State continues to move north. The band of heavy snow from north central Pennsylvania on up through New York State, northern sections and central sections, the Adirondacks, on up through Vermont, New Hampshire, up through the Maine area as this low continues north. And as it moves on north, we'll have breezy conditions gradually settling down to less than 10 miles per hour after midnight. Flow pattern, well, it's out of the northwest now. The storm center continues to move northeastward. And as it moves on north and east, forecast for our area tonight, mostly cloudy and cold, the light snow ending. No additional accumulation for Allegheny County. The overnight low, 17 degrees. Tomorrow night at this time, that low pressure center to the northwest starts to move southeastward rapidly into Kansas City, and light snow will be entering western and central Ohio late tomorrow night, gradually moving into the Pittsburgh district by daybreak on Thursday. So our forecast for tomorrow, in between the two centers, mostly cloudy and cold, some snow flurries, a high of 26 degrees. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, cold. We'll have some light snow back in here by daybreak Thursday morning, the low of 18 degrees. Thursday, snow becoming mixed with sleet and freezing rain, and that'll be going back to snow during the day with a high of 32 degrees. And as far as the bullseye is concerned, eastern sections in southern Allegheny County, Washington County, Greene County, Garrett County, on up into Fayette, Westmoreland, southwestern Indiana, extreme southern Armstrong County, reports anywhere from 20 to 26 inches. Down around Waynesbury, reported 32 inches of snow. Bridgeville, 22.3 inches. South Park, 23 inches. Fishley International Airport, 15 inches. But over in nothing in our area the rest of the night. No addition. Armstrong, Indiana County, and central and eastern Fayette County. It'll be ending there, and up until that time could pick up an additional inch or 2 inches, but by 11 o'clock it'll be on north and east, and this storm will be history. And as you can see going west, not much happening out there. As you go to the Ohio line, it drops off very rapidly. But tonight, remember, wind chills running around 0 degrees, so if you're outside, be prepared. Take a look at the extended for Friday. Variable cloudiness and cold. Friday we'll have snow flurries, the high 28 degrees. Saturday, same forecast, variable cloudiness and cold with flurries, but a high of only 22 degrees. And on Sunday, mostly cloudy and cold. Sunday's high, 25 degrees. So, as you would say, Donald, the worst is over. Just very light flurries in our area now. No additional accumulation, but very cold temperatures and some drifting overnight.
We don't play golf this weekend.
This isn't going to melt anytime soon.
No.
Right.
Okay.
Not for a while.
Thanks very much. Coming up next, more school closings into our WTAE-4 newsroom. Back to Scott Baker now. Scott? We'll have that in just a few moments. But up next, more cancellations for tomorrow. Please stay tuned for that.
And coming up in sports, the Turk comes calling in the NFL.
There's like snow everywhere. Can't get anywhere. Can't get in a parking space. Everybody's parked in the middle of the street.
I think it's great. It kept me from working.
Tis the season for heads to roll.
Yeah, there's trouble in the National Football League, too.
We
delivered everybody successfully we needed to.
So if you've got the day off tomorrow, will you be venturing out onto these roads for pleasure?
I'll be out with my daughter playing on the sled.
ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings is coming up next, and we will have weather updates for you throughout the evening. See you at 11.
WTAE-4 News brought to you by West Virginia Hams, Bacon, and Sausages. Make it easy with West Virginia brand.
This closed caption newscast has been a presentation of WTAE-4 News.